Hi everybody, this is Yosarian from BoyMeetsPhone.com. What I have here today is the Huawei Premia. This is the latest Android device to hit MetroPCS, and it's at a fairly good price point at $150 with no contracts. Taking a look at the hardware, up front we have a 4-inch WVGA display, so that's a resolution of 800 by 480. Outdoor visibility on this display has been pretty bad, and you can also see it's a fingerprint magnet, so you're also going to want to watch out for that. Indoor visibility is nice, but outdoor visibility, it gets a lot of glare, and it's pretty bad in direct sunlight. If you shade it, you might be able to see it a little bit better, but in direct sunlight, this is going to be a really bad display to look at. Below the display, we have 3 capacitive buttons for back, home, and menu. If you press it and hold on the home button, you'll bring up the multitasking. Above the display, you can get that without the glare. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get it without the glare. That's a little bit better. We have the Huawei symbol. You can see that. You have the earpiece. There's proximity and ambient light sensor. There's a status light in this corner over here. And right here is the 1.3 megapixel fixed focus camera. Up top, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, the power and screen lock button, which is fairly easy to find and sticks out good enough. Sorry. You have the micro USB port on the side. On the bottom part, we have the microphone, and we have a notch to pry off the back, and when I say pry, I mean you really do have to pry off this back. This side we have the volume rocker, again nicely defined. And it's going to pry off the back. Well, before I pry off the back, let me show you back. We have the 5 megapixel autofocus camera with a single LED flash and the speaker grill right here, along with the MetroPCS 4G logo and DTS, which is the audio processing used for the speakers and the sound system. Now I get to pry off the back, which is not a fun experience. I mean, it means that it's secure, but at the same time, this is a rather annoying way to have to take off the back. Alright, in the back here, we have a 1650 milliamp hour battery. The full-size, well, mini SIM card as it's technically called, but to most people, this is a full-size SIM card. And then we have the slot for the micro SD card. Put the back on here. Should probably put it on the right way. Yeah, you have to start from the bottom for the back to put the back on, or else you're going to have that gap there. So I gotta take this off again. There you go. Overall build quality is okay. The back is textured. See that? So it does feel decent in the hand. It's not the best feeling in the hand. There is some creak, if you may have heard that when I squeezed the device a little bit. So build quality is okay. It does feel nice in the hand because of how wide it is, and that did grow on me. I do like, especially like how wide it is and how it feels in the hand that way. But build quality could be better, but it's not the worst I've seen. The Premia is running Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich with a few tweaks. First one being the lock screen here. See, you have the option to jump into your dial pad, your camera, your messaging, or just unlock it. Most of the tweaks are pretty small, like that. Pulling down the drop down, you have the nice quick toggles here, which is a welcomed addition. Also, in the app drawer, you can edit and rearrange things to your liking, also delete apps. So any app that you can delete has an X. So delete or disable, so it's not available for use. It's nice that you have the ability to do that so quickly. But other than that, this is pretty much stock ice cream sandwich with just a couple of customizations. Also, if you pinch in, you can add or remove home screens and change which one is the default home panel. But Huawei did a good job with the additions that it made and the changes that it made to Android. It's not too intrusive, it's not too That's not a heavy skin or anything like that. They did add some themes, which again doesn't take away too much from the experience, just changes how the dock looks in the bottom. Other than that, it doesn't change, well, that and the wallpaper. I found that the changes that they made are pretty unintrusive, and that's nice to see from a manufacturer. As far as the onboard apps from MetroPCS goes, you have your 4G hotspot, you have the backup service is from Huawei. It's nice to have a way to back up certain things. Yahoo Answers, MetroPCS App Store. You have a file manager, which is always nice to see. DLNA app comes on board. Of course, you have the standard Google's apps, as Gmail, Google+, Latitude, Location, Maps, Movie Studio does come on as twice, and you have a ton of MetroPCS apps. The dreaded My Extra app, which if you do not disable will constantly pop up ads on your phone. It's kind of annoying. I would suggest if you get this phone, disable it as soon as possible. Block It, which allows you to block certain contacts. Metro 411, Easy Wi-Fi, Metro Web, which is just them renaming the browser. Rhapsody, which is a paid service. You have the option of adding that to your MetroPCS account. Visual voicemail and total protection. And Jot. Well, Jot is pretty cool because it also does allow Wi-Fi calling. So if you have Wi-Fi on and you're logged on to Jot, your calls will be sent through Wi-Fi, which is really nice, especially if you're in an area where the signal is not that good. So I do like that that is there. It also aggregates your messages and contacts to one area. But I also, like I said, you can delete or disable a good amount of the MetroPCS apps. So that's also nice. But overall, I'd say you get the normal amount of MetroPCS bloatware, but like I said, you can hide it and get rid of it. So it is what it is. As far as input methods go on this device, you have a few options out of the box. You have Swipe, which allows you to write words by simply tracing from letter to letter. It works really nice on this device due to the resolution and width. So it's very comfortable to use. You also have the standard Android keyboard for Ice Cream Sandwich, which again, due to the width of the phone, it is really easy to type on. We're both in portrait and landscape mode. You also have Google's voice input for Ice Cream Sandwich, which is really well. As long as you have a data connection, it will transcribe it in fairly quickly in real time. So that worked really good, as long as you have a strong data connection. Input method that I am not that fond of is the Huawei input method. I like the layout, I like the color scheme up until about here. The spacebar is very narrow and I found myself kept hitting the period every time I was trying to type something, so it's a what dot, yeah, and go so on and so on, and that was really annoying. There's also no predictive text with the English if you're using the Chinese version. See if I switch over to Chinese, where the prediction system actually turns on. So this is not made for the US use, to be honest. And you would think that if they're selling phones in the US that they would have thought to add certain features onto it, and they didn't, which is a little sad because the color scheme is nice. I really wish the space was wider. Like, get rid of the little emoticon button, just a larger space bar would have been nice. But overall, like I said, Swipe and the standard Android keyboards are your best bet for typing on this device. Taking a look at the web browser on the Premia, you see that we have the standard Android WebKit browser, despite the fact that if you're looking for it, it is labeled Metro Web. MetroPCS just has a thing for putting their name on everything they can. Make sure you know that you're using a MetroPCS device. But that's a little intrusive, but it doesn't add anything or take away from the standard web browsing experience. Bring back up the bar there. I'm going to hit CNN's website. I'm currently running on MetroPCS's 4G network. So that's the mobile site. Scrolling is pretty quick. I'm going to load up the full site. This does not support Adobe Flash because this was released after Adobe stopped supporting Flash for Android. You can sideload it at your own risk. You're not going to guarantee that's going to work. Not going to guarantee that's going to work good either, but you can sideload it. Pinching, zooming. So a slight delay, but overall pinching, zooming is fairly quick. There is also, I'm going to jump into here, Chrome comes standard. I was checking the bus schedule there. I'm going to jump to Boymeet's phone. And with Chrome, you can check out the tabs that you have open by pressing that. Scrolling works really well. You can jump between tabs by simply swiping over from the edge. And this also allows you to sync between your laptop, tablet, and other devices as long as you are signed in all under the same email address, which is pretty cool. So you have something open on your desktop or laptop and you want to access it on the go, you can just go into these settings and go into other devices and access those other devices. Quite nice. But overall, it's like the browsing experience on the Premia is not bad at all. The Huawei Premia is running Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich. As far as processing power goes, this is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 chipset. This is the MSM 8960 version. This is the 1.5 gigahertz version of the chipset. So it has a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz Crate CPU and a Adreno 225 GPU. There is a gig of RAM on this device with 784 megabytes free for the system to use. And as far as internal storage goes, you have 2.32 gigabytes of internal storage on this device. If you need more storage, you can expand it using the micro SD card slot. As far as performance goes, I didn't have any issues with performance. It was able to handle multitasking without an issue. The chipset they use on it is more than proven its worth in other devices, and it holds true on this phone. It's a solid performance device. I didn't have any issues on that end. I did have issues with the camera, and then you'll see that in the camera part. I also had an issue with the LTE on MetroPCS. I didn't have an issue getting a signal, holding an LTE signal. The upload speeds were consistently higher than the download speeds. Jump into the speed test, and I can show you the results. You can see every time the upload speeds were higher than download speeds, which is very weird, and this is the first time I've run into that issue with MetroPCS. But other than that, and the camera experience, I have to say that the performance on this phone has been solid. I am going to say, if you get this device, make sure you turn My Extras off, because you will be very annoyed with the pop-ups. Every once in a while it pops up with ad, and I found myself really annoyed with it. And every time I get a MetroPCS phone, I'd like to advise people this: make sure you turn My Extras off. Taking a look at the camera interface on the Premia, I do have to say I like how the camera interface is set up. However, I do not like how the camera performed. Right here you have the switch to change from taking still images to video, the on-screen shutter button, and a preview of the last image taken. Here we have a switch to change from the 5 megapixel autofocus camera in the back to the 1.3 megapixel fixed focus camera up front. Let's switch back now. We have our flash controls right here. We have an indicator letting us know that geo-tagging is on. Jumping into here, control your shooting modes. As far as shooting modes go, you have single shot, instant capture, HDR, so high dynamic range. So you can take 3 images at different exposures and it combines into one. Sorry, that up again. Burst mode and panoramic. Right here we have our effects. Here's your white balance control. And then here's your deeper settings, so you can change your scene modes. Well, scene types. You have a good amount of scene options here. Change the ISO all the way up to 800. Change the exposure level, the saturation, contrast, and the brightness. Turn the timer on and off. Change the review duration. Change the picture quality. You have normal, fine, and super fine. Change your picture size all the way down to 1.3 megapixel. Turn autofocus on or off. Turn face detection on or off. You also have a red eye reduction and HDR here. What that does is it saves the normal exposure picture and then also has the HDR picture, which is really nice. So you have what it would have looked like without HDR and what it would look like, what it does look like with HDR. Sorry. Turn the grid mode on and off. Turn your geo-tagging on and off. Disable the shutter sound and also change where the images are stored. I have to say that the images on here are pretty bad. They're very blurry. Colors tend to be off. It takes a while for it to focus, and the focus always seems to be off. I'm not too sure why it's this bad. I had found that most images I took were very, very blurry and over-processed. As far as video goes, this does, hold on, switch to video. This does capture up to 720p video using the rear camera. You can switch to the front camera, which is only able to capture WVGA video. Switch back to that. The audio quality was actually kind of nice. I did like the audio quality of the video, but the video quality did suffer from the same blurriness and artifacting as the pictures. So overall, I have to say the camera interface is nice, but the experience with the pictures I took with it did not leave me impressed. Thanks to its dual-core processor and the fact that it has a only slightly altered version of Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich, which if I go into themes will turn back to the normal version, at least look-wise. The Huawei Premia offers solid performance. The issue I had with this phone, and the really disappointing part, has been the camera. The camera on this, for lack of a better word, is sucky. If you're looking for a device on MetroPCS that is under $200, I would have to say take a hard look at the LG Motion 4G. It offers way better camera experience and very solid build quality. The only trade-off is the screen is smaller and at a lower resolution. If you really need the higher resolution and slightly larger display, it's 3.5 to 4 inches. That's the difference. If you need the larger display, then take a look at this device, but if you can live without it and really want a good camera experience on your phone, go with the LG Motion 4G. For the full in-depth review of this and many other devices, head over to the site, boymeetsphone.com. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up if you've liked it and found it informative. And you can also follow me on various social media sites. I'm going to have the link post it in the description below, and also should be showing up on the screen right about now. So this has been Yosarian from BoyMeetsPhone.com. Thanks for watching.